All right, Miles, let's move on to the Georgia Bulldogs here for a little bit. This is a team, obviously, they're the top of the college football world. Back-to-back national titles. They've got an incredible amount of talent. We see how much goes to the NFL every year, but we've got an exciting report out of Athens about the Georgia Bulldogs adding a big win in the recruiting game and stealing it from a bitter rival.
Yeah, Nick, you talk about being top dogs. They are definitely, and especially after addition of top quarterback in the country, Dylan Raiola. This team looks absolutely special. And we talk about Georgia, and this is a team that knows what it's best at. And one thing throughout history it has been extremely good at is the running back position, Nick. They have had some absolute monsters throughout history. That's why today, in the comment section below, I want to ask the Georgia fans a question with a caveat, though, with a caveat. Who is your favorite running back in Georgia football history? But cannot say Herschel Walker because that would be too easy. So let's get a little bit more creative. Tell us, who is your favorite Georgia running back in the comment section below. But Nick, nonetheless, let's get on into it. What is this latest big win for Georgia football?
Yeah, Miles, let's get right into news. If you want to throw this up, this is reported from Hayes Fawcett via Twitter. He works over at On3 Sports. Great follow on Twitter for any sort of college football news. But from Fawcett, he reported four-star running back Chauncey Bowens tells me he has flipped his commitment from Florida to Georgia. The 5'11", 215-pound running back from North Palm Beach, Florida, has been committed to the Gators since September. That obviously has now changed. The running back said, Coach McGee and Coach Smart produced the best players in the country. I'm ready to bring a national championship home again. All right, Miles, look, this guy's a good recruit. He's a four-star running back. But when I watched a little bit of his highlight film, and look, I understand it's high school highlight film. It's always hard to grade it sometimes because you don't know how good the competition is, how good is the team he's on, all that kind of dynamic. But when you look at Bowen's film, I am blown away. This kid's about 6 foot tall, about 220 pounds. He is the best downhill one-cut runner I may have ever seen on anyone's highlight film in high school. It's absolutely ridiculous. This guy accelerates through the hole like almost nobody I've ever seen. But what I love is he makes one cut and then he's gone. He has the elite breakaway speed. He's a track guy. He can just leaves everybody in the dust, but he doesn't mess around. He doesn't try and do too much. It's just one cut, foot in the ground, north and south, and he's gone. This guy, I think, is an unbelievable. When I saw this kid and I looked at his highlight film and I looked at his height, weight, and things like that, he looks like a Nick Chubb. He looks like a guy who's going to be an NFL running back in 2 or 3 years. He is that talented, and I think he's a perfect fit for what Georgia wants to do too. They want to be a one-cut, downhill running game kind of guy. I think he's a perfect fit for this team. Credit to Kirby Smart and company flipping this kid. I think he's going to be a special running back for the Georgia Bulldogs. But I'll throw it over to you now, Miles. What do you think of this move by Georgia and just everything with the Bulldogs program right now?
Yeah, Nick, this guy is incredible, especially when you look at some of the things he's already done in high school, Nick. One thing we love about recruits, multi-sport athletes, and this guy, I'm going to hit you with some stuff. It's a little bit more untraditional than you would think. He's a multi-sport athlete. Of course, he did track and field extremely fast, placed ninth in the 1A state track meet, ran a 10-9 100-meter dash, very, very quick, personal best race for him. Also, Nick, he has the hand-eye coordination game on lock because he is a varsity lacrosse player as well, which is something new
Wow.
for me. I've all the multi-sport athletes are for football. I haven't heard of any guys that are playing lacrosse, so that's very, very interesting. Also, Nick, this guy won the 5A, 1A Palm Beach Offensive Player of the Year. It says 5A and 1A. I don't know what that means, but I can tell you why he won it. And that is because he eclipsed the 100-yard mark in 7 out of 10 games, averaging 6.7 yards per carry that season. Absolutely ridiculous. And we talked about this a few videos ago. He went to the FBU Freshman All-American Bowl game. And some people can say, what is this bowl game? And I'll tell you, this is a game where some of the best players in the country go to. You think Bryce Young, you think Chris McCaffrey, you think Trevor Lawrence. This are some of the highest level recruits in the country. So this guy, Nick, he is a very special athlete. He's very gifted. Like you said, he's like 6 foot 220 in high school. Those are like NFL level running back sizes almost already. So this guy, very, very talented. I think he is going to be an absolute beast in Georgia, a team who knows what to do with their running backs.
And just one final point to end on, Mize. How about them getting him from the Florida Gators, right? Because one of the things under Napier, and it's been this way at Florida forever, they recruit well. They're kind of like Texas in that regard, where Florida always seems to do a decent job recruiting, something to do with their department in Gainesville and all these other kind of factors. Florida has always recruited pretty well, certainly their home state of Florida. The fact that Georgia was able to flip this kid's commitment to Athens, I think is a huge win for Kirby Smart and company. And look, they're the top dog, like you mentioned, in all of college football, back-to-back national titles. But we have to really understand this is not a flash in the pan era, right? This isn't just a crazy great run for Georgia. Adding this on to the Dylan Raiola commitment, and by the way, we talk about good recruiting begets better recruiting. You better believe that Raiola commitment had a factor in this guy flipping from Florida to Georgia. But if you look at the long-term success of what Georgia is doing in the recruiting game, there's no reason to think that in 2026, 2027, 2028, they'll be as good, maybe even better, even though it's kind of hard to think about, than they were 2022, 2021. This Georgia program under Kirby Smart is going to be really good for a really long time. Credit to everything he's done in Athens.